A lot of goaltenders who were drafted in the late 1970s in the NHL went on to great success on and off the ice. And there's not too many people that remember this player, but I do. A good guy on and off the ice, a very, very valued goalie for the Capitals, especially in the Kings and the Red Wings. Could have been a superstar, but because of the numbers games in Washington being kind of a partial backup until he finally had a good chance in '86 to be close to being number one. I think his potential was limitless, but hockey is different. Sometimes you become a number two, or a partial number one doesn't work out. But for me, this guy was tremendously talented, and when you're from Hamilton, Ontario, as a goalie, it sums it up. You gotta be good, and this guy was good. So today we're going to be talking about the great Alan Raymond Jensen, better known as Al Jensen. Now, this 5'10", 180 pounder was eventually drafted 31st overall by the Detroit Red Wings in the '78 draft. Now, he came to major prominence with the Hamilton Finn Cups and the St. Catharines Finn Cups of the OMJHL over 3 seasons. He skated in 28, 48, and 43 regular season games with a combined 33 games in the playoffs. Put up some solid numbers, especially in the playoffs where he was consistent. His 1977 season technically might be considered his best. He put in 61 regular season and playoff games, 7-5-1 in the playoffs with a 3.06 average. Now, eventually, when the Red Wings drafted him, they sent him for seasoning to Kalamazoo Wings of the IHL. We had 47 games in the regular season in '79 with 12 playoff contests. Now, he was number one goalie in Adirondack in 1980 with a 27, 24, and 5 record, including 4 games in the playoffs. Now, he got his first game with Detroit in '81, played 1 game, but again with the championship Adirondack Red Wings in the AHL, where he went 7-4 in the playoffs towards their title. He had a 27, 21, and 3 record in a regular season before finding his way in the Washington program. Now, '82, again, the building years for Washington, 8-4 in 26 games in '82. Also played 8 games with the Hershey Bears. Now, '83, again, as sort of the tie, like the number one, a great record that season, 22, 12, and 6, with a 1-2 record in the playoffs. Now, he did play 6 games with the Bears that year. Washington, again, his career year, and a lot of people feel because of average, even though he had more wins in '86, he went 25, 13-1 in '84 with a 2.91 average and 3-1 in 6 playoff games. '85, he found himself with a 10-3-1 record in 14 games with 1-2 in the playoffs, and also played some time in Binghamton. Now, again with Washington in '86, he found himself with probably, like I said, one of his best seasons ever, if not the best season. 28, 9-3 and 44 starts with a 3.1 average with 2 shutouts. Now, '87 was a very unique year. He found himself out of Washington after playing 6 games with a 1-3-1 record. Played in Binghamton, then found himself in the LA Kings program where he played 5 games with only 1 win with a 5.40 average. Now, '88, he wrapped up his minor pro career in New Haven with 20 games and a 4.46 average. So you look at Jensen's numbers, like I said, very consistent. Probably one of the better win-loss records in Washington Capitals history, and 5 games short of the magic 100-game win total, which not his fault, of course. But my God, I remember some of the Saturday night games he played. He's standing his head against all the key teams of what I call the eastern side, Quebec, Montreal, Toronto. But that 28-9-3 record, a lot of key games he won against divisional rivals. Now, he played 2 seasons for Canada at the World Juniors. And of course, the best season was the '77 tournament where he was 5-1-1 in 7 games. And, that was, the Gretzky years and the different key players that were coming up. Now, this is kind of weird, and I'm going to say this for a second. He always looked older than what he was, because when he broke into the NHL, He was only, I think, 23 or 22, but because he had that kind of older look, when he got out of the NHL, he was only 30, but he looked a little bit older. But Jensen was a very, very, very jovial guy, and probably one of the better mustaches in NHL history. If you look some of the photos on this podcast, he had a combination kind of Michel Goulet and Lanny McDonald. And I can tell you this. I watched the game he played against the Rangers when he won. He took his helmet off, ladies and gentlemen. He had the biggest smile I ever seen in my life. I've never seen a player so happy to win a regular season game. Like, he just loved what he was doing. And like I said, people from Hamilton, man, they love beating the Rangers. We all know that. It doesn't matter what type of Rangers it is, Kitchener or otherwise. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing, give us a like, comment, and subscribe. That's the legend of the great Al Jensen. Have a good evening. Bye.